In War Thunder, there are tons of different ammo types, from armor piercing all the way to anti-tank guided missiles. I know from personal experience that the amount of different rounds can be confusing and difficult to understand. But fear not, in today's video I will be covering the common types of ammunition that can be found in War Thunder. Primarily, focus on the types of rounds that can be found in ranks 1 to 3. With that little intro out of the way, let's get into the video. I will start this video by talking about the APHE round. You might find yourself asking what this means. Well, this stands for Armour Piercing High Explosive. As you can see, this round does not work very well for lightly armoured targets. This is because this round contains explosive filler, which works by penetrating the target and exploding after impact. As you can see, this round is highly effective against moderately armoured targets, usually being capable of one-shotting the enemy. When it comes to more heavily armoured targets, this round can struggle to penetrate. For this reason, I would suggest trying to get shots on the side armour of tanks, where the armour is a lot thinner. The next round I will be talking about is the APHE, and this stands for Armour Piercing. These rounds are good for penetrating targets. However, the lack of explosive filler means that this round can often take several shots to eliminate the enemy. It's highly effective at taking out specific modules or crew within the tank, such as the gun breech or the main gunner. When using this round, I suggest taking your shots carefully and aiming for specific areas of the tank. This round is not very good against lightly armoured targets and is made more specifically for moderate to heavy armour. Next up is the APBC shell. This stands for Armour Piercing Ballistic Capped. These rounds work in a very similar way to APHE rounds, however due to their ballistic cap, allow them to be more effective at longer ranges but having less penetration fall off. Just like APHE rounds, these are not very effective against lightly armoured targets and are made more specifically for moderate to heavy armour, whilst also being more effective at range than APHE. The next round is HE. This stands for High Explosive. These rounds contain a lot more explosive filler than the rest of the shells we've discussed so far. This makes them highly effective at taking out lightly armoured targets due to explosiveness. I highly suggest using these shells for open top tanks and lightly armoured targets. However, these shells are not very effective against moderate to heavy armour. I have often been killed as a result of accidentally using HE instead of a more efficient alternative, so don't make the same mistake as me and ensure you use the correct shell for the job. Next up is the Heat round, and this stands for High Explosive Anti-Tank. These rounds are amazing at taking out open top enemies and light to moderate armoured targets. One thing to note about this round is that they explode upon impact, so before you fire this round, ensure that there is nothing blocking your line of sight of the enemy, such as a fence, wall or tree. The final round that we will be talking about is the APCR round, and this stands for Armour Piercing Composite Rigid Shell. These work in a very similar way to AP rounds. They contain no explosive filler, but are amazing at taking out specific components and crew. The composite ridge of this shell allows it to travel at an increased velocity in comparison to standard AP shells. These shells are very efficient at longer distances and are very effective against moderate to heavy armour. Please do not use these rounds against open top targets. That concludes our guide of the most common shells found in ranks 1 to 3. If you found this video useful, then please consider liking and subscribing, and with that, Gobbler out.